What's up, guys? Derek here with Tap and Turn Gaming, coming at you today with an EDH deck tech. This deck tech will be a subscriber requested deck for Zedruu The Greathearted, Chaos style. This deck was suggested to us by, I can't really pronounce your name, so I'm just going to call you Mr. T, but I'll put your name up on the screen. But it's spelled THJS, and the second name is Grandeur. I don't know how you say the first name, so good luck to everybody else, but I will put his name up there. But for now, we're going to reference him as Mr. T. So he asked us to do Zedruu The Greathearted, and he asked us to do it Chaos style. Didn't give us a budget or anything, so I just kind of went with what I felt would be pretty cool for Chaos style. So we will check it out. First off, we have the general. Zedruu The Greathearted is a 4-cost America-colored, or Jeskai, if you will, 2/4 Minotaur Monk. And it has the ability, he or she, depending on where you go, some people go with she, whatever. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of permanents you own that your opponents control. And you can pay 3 to give one of your opponents one of your permanents. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool ability, group huggish type. You know, usually you just give away a bunch of stuff that has no real presence once it gets on the board. But I will go over that. So for the land base, I went pretty basic. You can obviously spend a lot of money on lands, but just to get the proper colors in there, I went pretty basic with it. So we have Azorius Chancery, Azorius Guildgate, Boros Garrison, Boros Guildgate, Emeria the Sky Ruin, Halimar Depths, Hallowed Fountain, 9 Islands, Is It Boilerworks, Is It Guildgate, 9 Mountains, 9 Plains, Sacred Foundry, and Steam Vents. Again, you know, I went pretty basic on the mana base. I didn't put too much effort into that because everybody knows what the lands are, and I just needed 38 in here to sort of round it out. For artifacts, I'm running Norn's Annex so that creatures can't attack me or my planeswalkers unless they pay a white or 2 life. Pretty cool. And Well of Lost Dreams, because this will let me turn the life gain into additional cards, because if I gain 10 life, I can pay 10 and draw 10 more cards instead. So it's a fun little card. You know, being able to sacrifice some life for some more cards helps refill your hand. Again, this is a Chaos theme, so you're going to see some wonky spells, I imagine. So for now, we're going to go over the sorceries. We have Chain Lightning. That's in here because of the Chaos effect that you don't know if your opponent's going to copy it or not. You know, you could cast this on your opponent, and they may just let it go through for the 3, or they could pay that double red and copy it and shoot it back at you, and you just don't know. Chaos incarnate. Clone Legion. It's pretty just a fun kooky spell. You know, pay a bunch of mana, get a bunch of clone creatures. Mana Clash is pretty cool. You and target opponent each flip a coin. Mana Clash deals 1 damage to each player whose coin comes up tails. Repeat this process until both players come up heads on the same flip. So this could have the potential to just wipe a player out. It's pretty fun. Polymorph, because it kills a creature but then, you know, gets a random creature. Reversal of Fortunes. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You may copy an instant sorcery card from it and pay the copy without paying its mana cost. Pretty cool because you don't know what you'll get. Adds to that randomness. Spell Twine. Exit target instant sorcery card from your graveyard and target instant sorcery card from your opponent's graveyard and copy those spells. Cast the copies if able without paying the mana cost, and then exile Spell Twine. Just another, again, fun, wonky spell. You'll see a lot of those. Stolen Identity. Makes copies of things. Tempt with Reflections. This has that whole Chaos theme because you're going to cast this for 4 and get a copy of a creature, but you don't know if your opponent will do it or not. You can't really say if they will or will not take the offer, the tempted offer. Twin Flame, same sort of idea. You know, just clone some creatures. Warp World, probably the key to a Chaos style deck. The way this more, you know, has a lot of text on here, but basically what this says is each player shuffles all permanents on the board that they control back into their deck. And then they reveal cards from the top of the library until they reveal that many cards, and then put all the permanents on the battlefield, I believe. Let's see. Each player shuffles all permanents he or she owns into his or her library, then reveals that many cards from the top of their library. Each player puts all artifact, creatures, and land cards revealed this way onto the battlefield. Then does the same for enchantment cards. Then puts all cards revealed this way that weren't put on the battlefield on the bottom of the library. So basically, if you have 50 permanents out, you're going to flip the top 50 cards of your deck after you've shuffled everything back in. And of those top 50 cards, all the permanents go onto the field, and all the non-permanents just get shuffled back into your library. It's pretty cool. It's definitely, you know, Chaos incarnate. But that rounds up the sorceries. We'll go over the instance. I run Cackling Counterpart, Chain of Plasma, because again, you don't know if the player is going to copy it or not. Chains of Vapor, same kind of idea. Chaos Warp, because it's really good. Faded Infatuation is really fun, just because it makes a copy of a creature. Increasing Vengeance with a copy. Radiate, because it's damn fun. When you cast Radiate, you target a spell on the stack, and then what Radiate does is it recopies that spell to every possible target. So if you were to cast something like a Lightning Bolt, and there's 100 creatures on the board, and if you cast Lightning Bolt and then you radiate it, it's going to radiate it to all 100 creatures and all the players in the game, because it can hit players as well. But Radiate's just good fun. Reverberate for the copy, Supplant Form for the bounce on the creature, Twin Cast for the copy, and Wild Ricochet for the copy. Because I feel like copying stuff is a big part of Chaos, because your opponents don't know you're going to copy it, so it sort of adds to that Chaos factor. For enchantments, we run Confusion in the ranks. Whenever an artifact, creature, or enchantment comes into play, its controller chooses target permanent that another player controls, and they exchange those. So just you start producing a lot of tokens, and you're getting a lot of crazy permanents. Copy enchantments, because we do run 19 enchantments, so being able to copy them is really, really good. We also run Curse of Echoes, because being able to copy the spells of another player is really, really cool. Eye of the Storm, because it's insane and people hate it and it's chaotic. Whenever a player plays an instant or sorcery card, remove it from the game, then that player copies each instant or sorcery card removed from the game with Eye of the Storm. For each of those copies, that player may play the copy without paying its mana cost. So every time someone casts a spell, it more or less goes under Eye of the Storm, and then they get to copy all the spells previously exiled with Eye of the Storm. It's really fun. Ghostly Prison to hopefully protect us a little bit. Grip of Chaos, just randomness. You put this down whenever a spell comes down to target something, it has to be a random target. Hivemind is whenever you cast an instant sorcery, everybody gets to cast it. Illusions of Grandeur is pretty cool. You cast this for 4 and you gain 20 life, and then when it leaves the battlefield, you lose 20 life. So essentially what you want to do is you want to play this, and then pay the 3 mana with Zedruu and give it to somebody else, and hope it leaves and they lose 20 life. Impact Tremors, just whenever a creature comes into play into your control, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Intruder Alarm is good fun because you don't know who's going to benefit off of it. Creatures don't untap during their controller's untap steps, and whenever a creature comes into the battlefield, untap all creatures. So if an opponent plays a creature, even yours untap. Then we have Pandemonium, but it doesn't want to come up. But basically, this whenever a creature comes into play, you can deal 2 damage off Pandemonium to a creature or a player. I don't know why the picture's not coming up, but that's just what it is. Possibility Storm. Whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, that player exiles it, then exiles cards from the top of his or her library until he or she exiles a card that shares a card type with it. That player may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then he or she puts all the cards exiled with Possibility Storm on the bottom of the library in any order. Basically, you cast instant or sorcery, and you will cast a different instant or sorcery whenever you do it. It's just kooky, crazy fun. Propaganda for that little bit of protection. Pyromancer Swath, this is another card that you want to cast it and then give it away with Zedruu, because it says if an instant or sorcery you control will deal damage to a creature or player, it deals that much damage plus 2 to that creature player instead. And that's all fine and good, but then it has the thing right here at the bottom where it says at the beginning of each end step, discard your hand. So what you want to do is you want to play this on your turn and give it away on your same turn, so you have to discard your hand and give it to one of your pseudo friends. Spellweaver's Volute, because you enchant an instant card in the graveyard, and whenever you play so you enchant an instant in your graveyard, and whenever you cast a sorcery, you may copy the instant, and if you do, you exile the instant, and then put Spellweaver's Volute on a different instant. It's just pretty fun. Splinter Twin for the copies. Tide of War. Whenever one or more creatures blocks, flip a coin. If you win the flip, all the blocking creatures die. If you lose the flip, all the attacking creatures die. And it's just craziness. Wild Evocation. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player reveals a card at random from his or her hand. If it's a land card, that player puts it on the battlefield. Otherwise, they cast it without paying the mana cost if they can. Just more of that chaos randomness. And then we have Words of Worship. The next time you would draw a card for 1 mana, you may gain 5 life instead. So this really, really works well with Zedruu, because if you give away 1 permanent with Zedruu, on your upkeep you're going to gain 1 life and draw 1 card. Well, you can pay 1 to not draw that card and instead gain 6 life. So, usually when you play Zedruu and you start giving away, putting down these crazy permanents, people are going to want to beat you up. This will help soften that blow. And then it actually combos very well with Well of Lost Dreams. Because what you do, you have Zedruu down. Let's say you gave him one permanent, so you're going to draw one card and you're going to gain 1 life. So what you could do is you could use Words of Worship, pay the 1, sacrifice that 1 draw to now gain 6 life. And then what you can do is, since you're getting 6 life with Well of Lost Dreams, you could say pay 3, gain 3 life, and draw 3 cards instead. If you wanted to. Or you could pay 6, gain no life, and draw 6 cards. And then with those 6 card draws on the stack, you could pay 6 more with Well of Lost Dreams, sacrifice those 6 draws now to gain 30 life. So those 2 cards combo very, very well together. And that's why they're both in there. They're both mainly in there to save your life and keep you alive, while people are going to definitely want to beat you up because everybody hates chaos. As fun and as interesting it is to watch, people are not going to like it and not going to like you messing with their permanents. But now I'm going to go over the creatures. Archangel of Tides pretty much serves the same purpose as like a Propaganda or Ghost of the Prison. Bizarre Trader helps you get rid of your permanents for free. Clone is a clone. Deadeye is Deadeye. Deceiver Exarch is Deceiver Exarch. Dualcaster Mage functions as another copier. Felon of the Third Path, clone-ish kind of guy, makes clones. Is a Guild Mage for the copying. Kiki-Jiki for the copying. Mercurial Pretender for the copying. Mischievous Quainar for the copying. Nimic's Guild Mage for the copying and the draw. Pestermite because he goes infinite with Kiki-Jiki. That's the only reason he's in there. Phantasmal Image for the clones. Phyrexian for the clone. Perforos God of the Forge because he's indestructible and will do a lot of damage over the course of a game. Ruhan because if you want random and you want craziness, you got to put in Ruhan because you don't know who's going to attack. Scrivener because when he comes in, he takes back a sorcery and instant for you. Oh, sorry. Just an instant. Sorry. And Vesuvian Shapeshifter because he can clone and reclone, and that's always really cool. So that more or less sums up this Zedruu the Greathearted Chaos deck. As you can see, it's got a lot of permanents. Things like Intruder Alarm, or Pandemonium, or Possibility Storm, or what else we have here? Tide of War, or Wild Evocation. These are all enchantments that when you put them down, you can give them to anyone, and it doesn't matter who has them. They're global. So what that does is that really benefits off of Zedruu's ability to be able to draw a lot of cards and gain a lot of life. And generally you could be getting close to decking out. So that really is where Words of Worship comes in, is that you can sacrifice those draws to gain 5 life per. If you're going to gain 6 life a turn, or gain 6 life and draw 6 cards, you're going to deck out quickly. So you invest that 6 mana into Words of Worship to gain 30 life instead, and 30 life is a pretty good bubble to get some protection. The deck doesn't really have so much as a win con. I mean, I guess it could have went infinite with Kiki-Jiki and Pestermite, or something like that. But it really doesn't have much of a win con because it's mainly in here to be chaotic and do its thing. Pretty fair spread on the mana-based colors. Pretty good curve as we curve pretty well into 2 and 3, and we start to curve down at 4, 5, and 6. So once we get to like turn 7, we can start dropping down multiple threats a turn, and that will always be helpful. But yeah, this is my Zedruu the Greathearted take on a Chaos EDH. It's an unfriendly group hug, I guess you could say. Because you're going to be giving away permanents that don't really matter much to people because it's global anyways. But yeah, this was Derek with Tap and Turn Gaming. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you've played with or against Chaos before, it's definitely a crazy game type, and I can see how it would get frustrating and annoying very quickly. But let me know what you think, and we would love to hear your feedback and comment and subscribe and all that stuff. Thanks a lot.